This video brought to you in part by these fantastic sponsors.
What is up, and welcome to the channel. I'm the Shotgun Shogun, and it's Wednesday, my dudes, which means Epic 7 patch note updates. So we all know that we're going to be getting Seaside Bellona, but they also dropped the hero balance as well as the summoning improvements, as well as like a little bit more information. So let's start with the main stuff. Let's get Seaside Bellona out of the way. Smilegate, fix your media playback here. So Seaside Bellona is going to be an Ice Ranger. Pretty much most of you have already probably looked at her in the journal. You fought against her in the side story, but Ice Elemental Ranger who can annihilate enemies with powerful attacks after weakening them with debuffs. Kind of like the regular one, but with a swimsuit this time around. With the Haven't I Warned You skill, she can disable healing and buffing for her enemies, putting her at an advantage in battle. Now, this is actually pretty nice because there's not a ton of anti-heal out there, so this is actually pretty good, especially like in Ice. That's kind of a rare-ish thing. Activating Soul Burn can cause this skill to ignore effect resistance. I'm with my friends greatly increases Seaside Belle's survivability since she shares the damage she receives with the ally in front. It can also turn the tide of battle when, after a certain number of uses, it attacks all enemies, decreasing their defense. So watch out. Attacks the enemy with a fan with a 60% chance to target the enemy for 2 turns. So this is basically Song of Stars, Shuri's ability, or Watcher Shuri, all built in there. So that's just going to further increase that damage. So that's actually really nice. Passive, I'm with my friends, shares 30% of damage suffered by the caster with the foremost ally. When more than one damage sharing effect is granted, only the strongest effect is applied. The caster gains 1 focus when an ally is attacked. When an ally is attacked and the caster's stacked focus is 5, lose all focus and activates You're Not Cute. Now, my question is this, does she get a charge for every single ally attacked? Because if so, rip Cleave meta. She's just going to be popping that out super fast in the case of Cleaves. I could see her being you build her kind of tanky along with a super tanky team, and if the AoE is giving her 1 charge, 1 focus every time an individual ally is attacked, she's going to be dropping these bombs on the regular. Next up, attacks all enemies with a spray of water with an 85 to 100% maximum chance to make them unable to be buffed and healed for 2 turns. Now that's actually pretty big because you not only get unhealable but unbuffable, which is super good, and you basically get Song of Stars in the first one with like her second skill is super busted as well. So damage does increase, damage dealt increases with a critical hit. I mean, that typically increases damage, but it looks like it'll further increase damage. So I could see her being a tanky crit character, basically just relying on getting those like not counter attacks, but like those extra attacks from getting attacked and having all of your allies get attacked. So that's actually going to be really cool. Kind of excited about that one. Next up is the new artifact, Rengar's Special Drink. This is going to provide good synergy for rangers who frequently employ AoE attacks. Thinking about Yuna here. Yuna is nothing but AoE attacks. But, you know, Belle, Seaside Belle obviously have a lot of AoE attacks in there. When attacking all enemies, has a 50% chance to inflict additional damage. Additional damage dealt increases proportional to the caster's attack. Now, this is pretty big. This is kind of like what is it, Erebus Ritual Tooth, except you don't have to worry about crit. This is just literally, if you max this out, bam, 100% chance to inflict additional damage. And so that's really big. That's pretty big for pretty much any cleave team for sure. Put this on, like I said, a Belle, a Seaside Belle, Put it on a Yuna if you want to run Yuna. There's a couple others that do, couple other rangers that do AoE attacks. So this is going to be pretty big. It depends on how much extra damage, but I can see this working really well in like Ranger Cleave. Just build yourself a super beefy bell, and you could run Seaside Bell with like the Gladiator attack set. Just stack her with tons of crit and crit damage, make her super slow, super fat, and just Oxlots or regular lots her right to the front. Boom, have this artifact on, and she should just wipe out the entire team regardless of who's over there. So that's going to be something that I'm actually going to look forward to. I'm going to look towards running. So we're going to have the limited drop rate up, so that's 121 club. Make sure that you get in on that. I think that she's going to be really strong. Not sure. I haven't seen anybody say that she's garbage yet, so she'll probably be pretty strong. One of the things that I would like to see in the future, though, is that they split out the limited artifact along with the limited character, because like if you triple S the character, don't want to go for the artifact afterwards, because you don't want to like continuously get more, because that's how it always works. But anyways, that's something for a future thing. So next is the special side story Song of Sea ending, and you already probably looked at the map and stuff like that. So we're going to have the next 2 weeks, week 2 and 3 of the special side story. Song of the Sea has begun. So we're going to be in here. This is going to be, you know, pretty much the same side story. We're going to be getting coral out of this one. And do we get a shop? Okay, so epic hell stage. That's fine. Wait, there's an epic hell stage. Ooh, one further than hell stage. That'll actually be pretty cool. Oh, may only be cleared once during the event. Rip. Okay, so yeah, we're gonna go up against some Grief Harvester. Fantastic. So it doesn't really say. I guess we'll have just the coral, kind of like the first one, the achievement. So like once you get it, just stop farming it unless you like that stage. So let's see, automation tower improvements. This is pretty good, although they kind of gutted the automation tower. Like floor 100 was an absolute joke. Sorry, kind of early for me, but so they're improving some of the accessories granted through here. 465, you're gonna get an attack ring. This crit hit chance with attack, that's not bad, but it's 65, so Then you've got the level 65 crit hit chance with crit hit damage on it, which actually isn't too bad, because that's a really optimal set right there. The next two, though, are the ones that are pretty cool. Speed attack ring, and then speed hit point necklace. Speed hit point necklace is pretty rare, especially for me anyways, because I just get flat defense necklaces whenever I go for speed. But it's really good for things like Ange, Tam, pretty much any of your supporter characters that you need to be super quick. Lots, Oxlots. So even just dropping down and ranking up that level 78 gear just for the speed life on it is pretty good. It's pretty good. So I'm sure that, you know, they're going to come back through and retune some of these as well, because I mean, you get that after clearing 495, which, I mean, I don't know, I haven't gone through it yet again, but like it was pretty much just really brutal to get through there. Although, like I said, probably now it's going to be like a pretty big joke for those who have cleared it beforehand. So there's that. So next up, so this is just the Seaside Bell again. So let's talk about the summon system improvements. Now, I'm sure that you probably saw my previous post where I ranted about how this is going to be pretty crappy, how they're breaking the game with everything. I was pretty mad when I first heard about this, because the way they made it seem is that they were just getting rid of Moonlight summons, like, altogether. It doesn't, and they were going to just dilute the pool by a bunch more, but it doesn't necessarily seem to be the case. So going over all of this, when performing Covenant summons, players will now have a 5% chance to receive a Moonlight Hero. The nice thing about that is, while they put 5% chance in to get a Moonlight Hero, they reduced 3-star artifacts by 5%. So the percentage overall is still the same. They literally just replaced some 3-star artifacts, which, I mean, I know I'm going to be really, really upset that I'm not getting more 3-star artifacts to turn into dust. But, you know, overall, I think that was a okay way to do it. So limited system will be implemented as well for drop rate up banners, both existing and new heroes. The summon rate will be 1%, obviously, so it'll be 121 club for any banners. And one of the big things is that's something that was definitely needed. If you're doing like a rate up banner, then you kind of need to have that pity system in there, because I think I spent like 2,000 bookmarks on Tam back in the day. There have been a lot of characters that I have just dropped bookmark after bookmark and not gotten any of them. I mean, on the Tam banner, I got spooked by 2 non-rate up 5 stars. Not that I was upset about that, but overall, yeah, it was pretty brutal. So this is a good change for sure. So let's see. So yeah, you get that. I do still think that in the future they should swap out the artifacts in there as well, or make it so that only 5-star, the only 5-star artifact that you can get is the rate up 5-star artifact. That would be the best way to go about that. So with the addition of Moonlight Heroes, the probability of receiving a 3-star artifact has been decreased, and the overall probability of receiving a hero is now greater than the probability of receiving an artifact, which is really nice. The Moonlight Heroes that will be attainable in the Covenant summons includes all 3 to 5-star Moonlight Heroes. Also, when a new Moonlight Hero is introduced, they will immediately be placed into the Covenant summons as soon as they are released. So that is pretty awesome as well. So you're not gated by, you know, mystics or anything like that. Please note that this has blah blah blah. As before, players are able to receive mileage on their Covenant summons as well as on their drop rate up summons, and will still be able to receive gold transmit stones. Additionally, players will still be able to purchase 4 to 5-star hero tickets or galaxy bookmarks, so they still have a higher probability of receiving a high-grade Moonlight Hero. The second change that we would like to speak about are the improvements to the Mystic Summons, which will also be implemented on August 8th, which Mystic Summons were absolute cancer. Absolute garbage, so I'm glad that they're making changes to this. Where were we at? The second change that we like to speak about, the improvements to the Mystic Summons. Mystic Summons are a new type of summons which gives players a higher chance to obtain newly released Moonlight Heroes as a summoning list, which changes weekly. However, there's a large issue when players are not able to receive a Moonlight Hero because the period has ended. That's not why you can't get them. It's because you buy every pack in the shop and then you just don't get it. So yeah, in order to make improvements, we plan to introduce a limited summon for Mystic Summons as well. If a player does not receive a 5-star Moonlight Hero within 200 summons, then the 201st summon will be guaranteed to receive the featured 5-star Moonlight Hero. The guaranteed summon counter will not be reset if the Moonlight Hero is reset. Interesting. Okay, so you can just build that up, and then in a future banner, you could build it up, save it, and then pull immediately the Moonlight Hero on a future banner. So that's actually kind of interesting. Also, somebody in the comment section, let me know if you buy every Moonlight pack in a month, is that enough to hit 200? I don't think it is. Pretty sure it's not. But, because I think you need like, that's like what, 10,000 Mystic Marks? Might be. Because I think you get 100 or 1,000 from... Anyways, regardless, the new 5-star Moonlight Hero and previous 4-star Moonlight Hero combination will run for 4 weeks. The previous 5-star and new 4-star Moonlight Hero combination will run for 4 weeks. Regular heroes and artifacts will be renewed every week. Players will now be able to purchase 50 Mystic Medals from the Secret Shop in the lobby, which allows them to perform 1 summon. As Mystic Medals will be added to the Secret Shop, the chances of friendship bookmarks appearing has been reduced. which is fine. And that's actually really awesome because I'm just going to be resetting the secret shop like crazy to get Moonlights, or to get Mystics and regular bookmarks, because that's actually how I get most of my bookmarks. So that's pretty solid. As the difficulty of acquiring Moonlight heroes has been reduced, though, the improvement through the improvement of the summon system, we will investigate all materials that players used for Moonlights and Mystic summons and give each player a 50% refund for the in-game materials used on these summons. The 50% refund will apply to Galaxy bookmarks and Mystic medals used until 8.2 and will be paid in batches after the 8.8 update. We'll give you more details. So 50% of everything that I've spent is coming back to me. I'm going to have so many pulls. We're going to have so many pulls, and we are literally not going to get anything. Because pretty much for the last, 4 months, I think I've bought every Mystic pack to pull on Mystics, which is really, really bad. But and I didn't get a single Moonlight character. So we'll see. We'll see how this goes. I'm looking forward to just having metric tons of pulls. We're going to see how that goes. I'll have to stream that. But let's talk about hero balance. Hero balance. The cooldown for Silverblade Araminthus skill Meteor Fall will display incorrectly. This issue's been fixed. Fantastic. There you go. We're done. Nope. First and foremost, we would like to apologize to the heirs who've been waiting for this content of the conference that was held in Korea. Blah, blah, blah. Based on the balance adjustment and skills, you're going to be getting a... Epic 7 will strive to be more careful and take a more cautious approach in the future. We know many of our heirs have been waiting for details regarding our Moonlight hero balance adjustment and skill balance policy. The problem is that regardless of what they balance, the players are way smarter than they are, and they're going to find some way to break every character, and then somebody's going to want it nerfed. So we'll see how that goes. Epic 7 development team agrees that the ability level between certain Moonlight heroes and regular heroes in the arena is too large. Additionally, we are making every effort possible to create a PvP environment that does not force players to rely too heavily on specific heroes. This notice contains information which many of our heirs gave their opinions and is something that we think our players have a great interest in. Let's get into this. I also inform our players about the Moonlight hero balance adjustments. The purpose of these balance adjustments is to correct the over effectiveness of certain heroes, while at the same time maintaining the unique identity of each hero. Please see below for details about the balance adjustments. Additionally, we do hope that our heirs will give us their opinions on these balance adjustments. I still don't think that you should really put too much stock in that, because you're never going to make anybody happy, Smilegate. So regardless, there's people that are still going to be mad about this. Silverblade Aramintha, they are going to be... Silverblade was able to inflict large damage to all enemies in addition to the crowd control effect of Meteor Fall and Flame Release. After this adjustment, the burn effect of Meteor Fall, which was more powerful than other AoE skills, will be reduced in strength, followed by an adjustment of the cooldown. Also, the amount of combat readiness that the caster is granted by Flame Release will be decreased to make her less advantageous in long battles. This feels like it is just nerfing her PvE damage, PvE usability, because you're not in long battles in PvP. Not where you're using Araminth, that's for sure. But before active Flame Release, if the enemy is burned after using Flame Friction, Flame Release attacks all enemies with Mystic Fire, increasing the combat readiness by 30%. They're dropping that by 10, dropping it down to 20%. Okay, so there's not too many times that she got like a second or a third turn, but yeah. So Meteor Fall drops a giant meteor to stun all enemies for 1 turn with a 40% maximum, 40% to 50% chance to inflict 3 burn effects for 2 turns. This is now going to drop a giant meteor, stuns all enemies for 1 turn with a 50% chance to inflict 2 burn effects for 2 turns, and they increase the cooldown. So they're getting rid of a burn, and they're increasing the cooldown by 1 turn. So again, usually you didn't give the enemy an extra turn. The burns were just there to finish up anybody that was like straggling, but we'll see. I don't think that this is going to hurt her lower level PvP viability. But yeah, we'll see. Like I said, I don't think so. The people who were complaining about her before are still going to be complaining about her because for the most part, you used her for CC. You either used her for CC or you used her as a sweeper. So she's still going to be able to do literally both of those things without a problem. So up next is Sage B&S, which, I mean, he was a little bit of BS, but you know, a lot of people were complaining about this guy. So Sage BS is a hero who specializes in impeding the enemy's turn and was extremely hard to counter when assigned to a defensive team. I really didn't have too much of a problem with him. To adjust this hero, the buff dispel effect of Cloud of Ruin will be reduced to weaken the ability, which allowed him to counter the immunity effect, followed by an adjustment that involves reducing his combat readiness and increasing his cooldown to reduce the advantage B&S had after his initial turn. The combat readiness was a little bit of garbage, but overall, I didn't think it was. It was a little bad. If he was a super fast boy, he was even faster. So attacks all enemies by summoning a storm cloud with an 85 to 100% chance to dispel 2 buffs and a 65 to 80% chance to put them to sleep. If the skill is available, increase the caster's combat readiness by 15 to 25% at the end of the enemy's turn. Cooldown was 3 turns. Now attacks all enemies, 85 to 100% chance to dispel 1 buff, and a 60 to 80% chance to put them to sleep. This skill is available, increases by 10%, so we're dropping another 5%, and increasing the cooldown by 1 turn. I don't think that this is going to absolutely break him. I do like that they took off the 2 buffs. They took the 2 buffs from 2 to 1. That definitely helps, especially if you're trying to buff yourself, you can put up some buffers to hopefully not strip the other ones. But we'll see how that goes. Next up is Arbiter Vildred, the character that literally should not have been a problem for anybody with a Karen Baiken, Judge Kisei, or anybody else who had double attacks. Arbiter Vildred had an extremely difficult skill set to go up against due to the fact that Darkblade could be activated without fail. This means that the arena was overly simplified for those who had Arbiter Vildred and greatly weakened the position of the heroes with low health. By removing Dark Contact's passive skill, which increased his attack for 2 turns, an opponent battling Arbiter Vildred can now have more options to compose a team when facing him. So they took out, it's literally all the same, they just took out the increased attack for 2 turns after he comes back. So he's still going to be doing everything that he was doing, he's just going to be hitting a little less hard when he comes back, which just means that solo Corvus teams are going to wreck him even harder. Now, here's the one that gets me, because they literally kind of gutted this character. Crimson Armin's skill, Shield of Holy Spirit, provided all allies with invincibility and immunity buffs, which prevented damage and stopped the enemy from inflicting debuffs. Additionally, her passive skill was considered a problem as it had a large impact on the team's health. This skill has had an impact on all heroes, but it especially had an impact on defensive heroes in dragged out battles. Crimson Armin is still a powerful hero after being adjusted. However, there is now room for other defensive heroes to be selected for arena. So before, Security State decreased damage received by allies from critical hits by 20 to 30%. When more than one damage reduction effect is granted, only the strongest one is applied. Now it's 10 to 15%. That's literally cutting her usability in half. And if that weren't bad enough, Shield of Holy Spirit covered all allies in an aura of Holy Spirit, granting immunity for 3 turns and invincibility for 1 turn. Now, this was pretty long, considering that like Angelica's was only 2 turns. And didn't put invincibility on you. Now they're going to be dropping that invulnerability, that immunity down to 2 turns. So that one's not as bad. Shield of Holy Spirit wasn't too bad. The Security State, though, is pretty rough. That's a huge cut to Crimson Armin. Now, you know, they don't want battles to drag out. I mean, realistically, when you go up against a Crimson Armin team, You either blow everything up like right away with a Tam Assyria combo or Judge Kisei or any number of other like single target explosive characters, or you just hunkered down for the long haul. So now it just means that, you know, speed cleave is going to be even more cancerous. So Moonlight Hero Recall, basically if you have any of these Moonlight Heroes that got nerfed, you can turn them back in for another one. And if you have them imprinted, you get back like a slate to imprint pretty much anybody. So should be interesting. So although it'll be interesting to see if they do an unknown slate that can only be used on the new character, or if yeah, because let's see. So it says here, additionally, if the Moonlight Hero is being recalled has been memory imprinted by the player, the imprinted player will receive unknown slate equal in number to memory imprints that the adjusted hero had. For example, if the player is recalling a 4-star Moonlight Hero, they will be giving Meteor Shard's tentative name equal to the memory imprint level, which acts as unknown slate for 4-star heroes and can only be used on 4-star heroes. So that means that if you have an imprinted Moonlight character, then you can just drop those slates on literally anybody else that you want. Which means that if you had a Dizzy, because she's limited, guess what? You can triple S her with these slates. Honestly, like I would suggest if you have a Crimson Armin to just dump as many regular Armins into it as humanly possible so that you get back 4-star slates so that you can triple S anybody else that you want to get. But so the Moonlight Hero recall period is going to be lasting 2 weeks starting on September 5th. So for those of you who think that immediately after this patch you're going to just be winning PvP, yeah, no, you've got until the 5th to worry about that. So, additionally, when restoring Moonlight Heroes, if you wish to receive the hero instead of an unknown slate, please send us a request to customer service without using the unknown slate. Upon submitting the application, we will review the player logs and send the hero instead of the unknown slate. Heroes achieved this way cannot be exchanged. So that's actually kind of nice. That's kind of nice. Adjusting balance of Season 3. Balance changes for the arena. So it looks like they're going to be changing Basar. Basar was designed to be useful when used against a party with many buffs. Since Basar's skill Sandstorm dispels enemy buffs and makes them unable to be buffed. However, the skill Sandwind, which transfers debuffs from the caster to the enemy, and the skill Hurricane, which decreases the hit chance of the opponent, were difficult to utilize for containment purposes. Therefore, by reinforcing containment factors of Hurricane and Sandy Wind, Basar's ability to contain the opponent will be improved. We'll see. We'll see. Yufine. So this is one I don't see very often in PvP either. Yufine displays outstanding power in attacking a single opponent with Dragon Charge's high damage output, but her Dragon's Roar skill had problems as it dealt a low amount of damage and had ineffective effects, resulting in Yufine's low usage by players. By balancing Dragon's Roar skill, the damage gap between it and her skill's Dragon Charge will be reduced. Interesting. So they might just buff her too much, and then you'll see a huge resurgence of her. Will Bet. Are they going to just change? You know what the best buff they could do is they could make her name actually Lilbeth, instead of Lilbet. Lilbet's Soul Cutter skill has the extinction effect, which matches well with her Soul Burn, but because her ability is too focused on the extinction effect, it was difficult to use her in other situations. Her overall ability will be buffed so that she can be beneficial in various situations. That's nice. They actually kind of needed that because she was not very good except for that niche. Lidica. Now, this one is one that I'm super, super hyped for because Lidica is super waifu. Highly effective when attacking a single opponent or in golem hunts, but her overall ability is greatly focused on individual containment, so she is not widely used in the arena. By improving her general skill ability, she will be more effective in containing her enemies. I'm excited to see what that does. I almost feel like they're going to make her S2, similar to like it was in the side story, where not only did it blind you, but it also did CR pushback as well. Assassin Kali is strategically useful since she has high speed and her passive skill Cloak and Dagger has the chance to increase attack, while her skill Murder has containment effects. However, because there isn't any additional effect following the skill Ambush, she wasn't as beneficial after her first turn. By improving her basic skill, she will be useful even after using her skill Murder. Interesting. We believe the key fun factor in Epic 7 is the back and forth battling of heroes with different elements. That is why we're trying to revive the fun that comes from both the combining heroes of different elements into a single team and the uniqueness of each hero. The problem is, though, Smilegate is you're never going to get away from a single meta. Anybody who's ever played a PvP game knows that there is always a meta. No matter what you do, there's always going to be an optimal team. So Arena 3 season postponement notice. In our previous announcement, we had stated that the start of Arena 3 would begin August 12th. However, we're going to start diversifying the Arena meta with the Arena Season 3 balance adjustment. Due to this, we have decided that it would be dangerous to have such a balance adjustment occur during the middle of the season, so we decided to postpone it. Alright, so that gives you some time to build up for these characters that are coming out. Personally, I'm super looking forward to seeing what Litica brings to the table. So September 9th is when it's going to begin. The preseason period is extended. An additional unknown slate will be added to the store and can be purchased with conquest points until the start of Arena 3. That's actually super, super cool. The unknown slate is scheduled to be sold at a discounted price. Fantastic. Skills with bug fixes. When fixing skill-related bug fix, the developer normally refers to a hero's skill description. Skill descriptions are like a manual for each hero's skills and contains different information that allows us to estimate the performance of different heroes. Every hero and monster has a skill description. However, there were some problems in applying a strict standard for the information that is placed onto these skill descriptions. From now on, we're going to apply a stricter standard for what should be placed onto that skill description to prevent issues from occurring in the future. The standard will be explained in more details down below. First, we'll try to remove the ambiguity from our skill descriptions. Currently, some of the skill descriptions for some heroes, monsters, and artifacts aren't really clear enough when explaining how they work. An example of such ambiguity can be seen in regards to the skill activation timing, as well as omission of percentages when describing the effect's chance of occurring. We will adjust these skill descriptions in October to make the information more clear and intuitive. Additionally, when fixing bugs, we will thoroughly review things that might have an impact on the balance of the game in order to prevent any problems from occurring. Secondly, we would like to discuss our policy in regards to bug fix. We will strengthen our line of communications to communities from all over the world in order to handle any bug reports. However, we kindly ask for your understanding since it might take some time to deal with certain kinds of bugs. Alright, so battle system improvements. This section will discuss display of skill multipliers in game. Okay, fantastic. That's actually pretty nice. Players can view a skill multiplier in game. They may not take into account the synergy one hero has with another, and they may ignore the team composition of enemy and cause players to only focus on heroes with higher skill multipliers, especially in the early game. Therefore, we are not currently planning to display these numbers in game. However, more detailed information will display when buff debuff effects are activated, and we will enable players to research more in depth in regards to team compositions. These improvements are scheduled to be implemented on the August update. Now, I do agree with them. A lot of people see characters and they're like, oh, this skill modifier isn't very good. And then it ends up being that if you just build them right or build them with other things, that they become super busted. So yeah, I definitely can see, especially players that aren't as in tune with the game, just seeing a skill modifier and being like, oh, this character's literal trash. Dizzy, for instance. So the next part that we would like to address is the various help topics that are in battle. Epic 7 employs a combination of systems that are not clearly understandable at a glance. To correct this issue, we've improved our game tips. Fantastic. Finally, we'd like to discuss artifacts and passive skill text which are not displayed in battle and may not be displayed clearly. There are many important artifacts with passive skills in combat, but some effects may not display the text correctly, making them inconvenient to use. By creating a more organized standard for when text displays after an artifact or passive skill condition has been fulfilled, the inconvenience that some players may have felt will be reduced. The change is scheduled to occur in August. I don't know that that's I've literally never heard anybody complain about that ever. So that's weird. If you don't know what your passives do or when they're triggered, then, like, I don't know, I guess learn your character. So balance quality improvements. In order to solve certain balance issues that have been in Epic 7, we have recruited additional people whose main purpose is to focus on hero balance. We have also hired additional people who will focus on hero design, as well improving our process to improve initial hero quality. Additionally, the developers and publishers are also exchanging more opinions during the scheduling, so that we will have more time for our verification process, which will ensure better quality. We are also reflecting on the opinions and suggestions made by our heirs as well. It's interesting to see they also hired, they've recruited additional people whose main purpose is to focus on hero balance. Is that community people? Like, what kind of background do they have? Like, how are they vetted? That'll be kind of interesting. Next, we would like to explain the process behind our normal balance adjustment, which performed at regular intervals. The developers are consistently monitoring competitive content, such as arena and guild wars, along with hunts and various farming content, the target of which balance adjustments are therefore selected when certain heroes or artifacts have a large impact on the meta or cause the gameplay to become stale. Good luck. Good luck. However, some issues related to balancing have occurred, and we will analyze our data in greater detail. In particular, we'll be more careful in regards to adding new effects to the game and predicting how they will interact with effects that have already been implemented. So here's another one. This one's kind of interesting. Finally, we'd like to let you know about the purpose and direction of implementation improvements that will be made to memory imprint effects. These changes are scheduled for October. Memory imprint is one of the factors that determines a hero's balance. However, its effect influences the team and not the memory imprinted hero. In certain situations, it has a powerful effect, but depending on the team composition and equipment, certain effects are significantly underutilized. In summary, unlike other balance elements that can be adjusted according to the individual hero, memory imprint has a significant impact on the setting of an entire team, depending on an heir's situation. Therefore, we need to approach the balancing of party effects very carefully. Not only that, but a lot of times people will triple S characters just for the memory imprint. So if you start adjusting that, then that's going to be pretty rough, because a lot of whales will just whale specifically for imprints. To make the memory imprint a unique power of the hero, we will make changes so that players can either choose to keep the devotion skill applied on team members or choose to have this effect apply to the memory imprinted hero directly. This is pretty interesting. This personal memory imprint may not be as efficient as the one that is applied to all party members, but it will allow the player to choose unique effects that will only apply to the memory imprinted hero. Players will have full choice to choose which one to use, either between party memory or self memory. That is a really interesting move right there. So, because there's a lot of characters where I'm like, man, I sure wish I just had this crit on myself, or this attack just basically, is for myself. So that's going to be really interesting. I'm looking forward to that. The ultimate goal is to allow our heirs to enjoy playing Epic 7 in a more enjoyable environment. So yeah, so there you have it. Like, I think that they focus too much on enjoyment and balance around PvP and not just giving us more PvE content that's, more interesting anyways. But there you guys have it. I did notice though that Belle was going to be pushed back. I don't know where that was. Some people were telling me that she was pushed back, but I didn't see anything. Yeah, because somebody's saying that they changed the release date of Seaside Bell. So, it's in, okay, never mind. Yeah, so this is going to be out real quick. We probably won't even get an update today, actually. So anyways, guys, there you have it. Let me know what you think of all this. I'm still hesitant to see how they move forward, because I know that this isn't going to make everybody happy. It's definitely not going to make the people who wanted literally these characters just gutted and made useless happy. ML Ara is going to still be used where she was used. ML Balls, not really that much debuffed. Crimson Armin did get kind of gutted, but yeah. So we'll see. I'm gonna hold my judgment for now. I'm just looking forward to not rolling a single 5-star on all of the Mystics and Moonlight packs, or all the Moonlights that I get back from the compensation. So anyways, guys, let me know what you think, and I will catch you guys later when I roll for Seaside Bell. Take it easy, homies. Peace.